I'll tell you a bit about myself, about my background, about what I do now, and hopefully, before we go into a Q&A, I can give you some inspiration as to where you guys are at right now, and how you can start monetizing what you're learning today. So, yeah, well, I was born in Swansea. I went to school in Henley. Anyone know Henley? Yeah, tiny from Henley. Yeah, tiny little village, right? Everyone knows everyone. Think like Gavin and Stacey or like Stella, that kind of thing, where everyone knows all of your business, all of what you're doing. Tiny little place. Everyone's narrow-minded. Fair to say, everyone's kind of narrow-minded. Yeah. Nobody really knows what they want to do. Anyway, got through that. School was okay, I guess. Went to St John Lloyd then. Everyone knows St John Lloyd? Oh, again. This is my doppelganger right here. So, went to St John Lloyd. It was a Catholic school. I wasn't Catholic. So instantly I was, the underdog, if you like. I studied there. Again, I was all over the shop really initially. Year 7 till year 9, I kept on getting called out in the classrooms and asked, what the hell am I doing? Why is my behaviour like this and that? I just didn't really gel with people. Didn't like it too much. Sorted my head out in year 10ish, totally turned it around and ended up being a head boy. I know somebody as short as me telling the big guys what not to do didn't really go down too well. And then obviously came to college. When I came to college, I knew throughout all this time from doing productions. I mean, we've got some music students here, right? Yeah. So I was doing productions. I was Oliver and Oliver Twist, all this kind of stuff. And I knew, right, I really wanted to get into music at some point. Really wanted to be in the industry. But at the same time, a word that you probably heard today, employability, that kept on coming up. How can I monetize a career in music? My dad kept on saying to me, go down the A-levels route, which is what I did. Now that may not resonate with you guys because you've actually followed your passion a little bit sooner than I had. But hopefully this story can, give you a bit of insight of what it's like not following your journey and then trying to follow it later on. So I did A-levels, I did English, biology, don't ask, and law as well. Decided I wanted to be a lawyer. I enjoyed speaking as I did that, and that's what I wanted to do. I thought that's the only way that I'm going to make a good income for my future family, for myself, and the music I'll just have to do on the side. Little did I know that the turmoil that was going to come with that. So anyway, so I started studying law then at uni, and that's when I realised I needed money. How can I start making money and actually push myself through uni so that when I do come out on the other side, I'm not broke as shit, basically. So then I went and got a bunch of jobs. This should give you a bit of insight. Some of the guys here now, imagine you've got part-time jobs. Everyone got a part-time job? Yeah. Out of everyone that said yeah, then how many of you actually enjoy it? 1-2%. I was exactly the same. I was delivering pizzas at Domino's. Oily pizzas seeping through the seats, man. My car stank of cheese. It was minging. So I did that for a while. I was thinking, oh my god, I really want to be a DJ, and that was my thing. I loved house music, I loved techno. At the time, I loved dubstep. I just wanted to DJ something. Anyone like music here? Anyone like DJing? Yeah? Cool. Anyone like electronic music? Yeah? Yeah? One of the coolest industries to be in, but also the hardest to break into. It's heavily saturated. Imagine when I said everyone like DJing, people put their hands up, yeah, I want to be a DJ, but they don't realise all the shit you have to go through first in order to get to that point. So there I am, studying law, working for Domino's, and I'm trying to be a DJ. So I'm playing all these little parties. Bell Social Club? My first ever gig, ever. I played to about 20 people for somebody's birthday. And I couldn't play any house music because it was all, pop and all that crap, so I had to play all that instead. So there I am, trying to make it work, trying to see it through, and it's just not happening. Not happening at all. I'm getting all these awful part-time jobs I don't really want to do. Worked at Nando's, worked at Domino's, like I said. Then found myself knocking doors. I was knocking doors for cancer research, getting told to F off all the time. You imagine when somebody's knocking your door and they think it's either a Jehovah's Witness or a guy trying to sell solar panels. So every time I knocked the door, I was told to F off, and I was thinking, oh my god, this is awful. I somehow bagged myself a residency, however, in room 2, not the main room, the second room of the university where I went to study law. University of South Wales. Anyone going there? Plan to go there? Yeah? 1, 2, that's it. That's because I wanted to go to Cardiff originally. When I asked that question, say who wanted to go to USW, people kind of stub a nose at it. You know, it's not a Russell Group uni. And this is weird for me to end up in a non-Russell Group uni, considering that I was, well, when I was here, when I was sat right where you are now, I was an Oxbridge student. So it shows I messed up. How did I mess up? Because my head was all over the place in different places, right? And I imagine I'm saying that, and some of you guys are thinking the same thing. You probably know there's some media students here, music students. You're thinking that you want to go tunnel vision, right? I want to be a superstar, or right, I want to run a radio station. But you know, you're having to put in the work in other areas in order to finance it, and that's what was happening with me. I messed up my studies here. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I hold my hands up. I messed up my studies here. This isn't a success story where I say, yeah, I got A's, A's, and A's, and A's, and more A's, and then off I went. Yeah, in GCSE I did. GCSE was something like 2 A's, and, or 2 A stars, 6 A's, something like that. But then the reverse happened then is when I was so determined to get into the music industry. I went on a little show called X Factor. And I went through all the processes, all the stages, got myself to the Emirates then to sing in front of Simon Cowell. And the first thing he said is, "You're not being yourself." I was thinking, what the hell does he mean by that? How can I stop being myself? He said, "You're trying to be someone else." Probably didn't help that I was trying to sing Justin Bieber, but but yeah. So he said, "You're not being yourself," and I was thinking, how can I stop being myself? And those words have stayed with me up until and including the last few months, because only in the last few months I've started being myself to find out about. But yeah, so the reason why I messed up my studies here is I was getting calls all the time from these producers. And when ITV are ringing you, you start thinking, oh my God, I'm going to do it, I'm going to make it here. It's because I was trying to get the shortcut route. I was doing all these small gigs. I thought I was too big for them. I was thinking, nah, I can't do these small gigs. Same as you guys, some of you like here that wanted to start a podcast. You've got to realise that initially, you're going to get 5 listeners. Sometimes the first one you get 0. We put a podcast out the other week, starts out, you get 10 listeners, then 70 on one, then a few thousand on another. I wasn't willing to go through the downfall really and the hard stops all the time. I hated playing to little social clubs. I wanted the big boom. So that's why I jumped on a show like that and realised that it ain't know what it is. I ended up messing up my studies. I had BBD instead of AAB. So an Oxbridge student. Somebody was this college financed my trip to Oxford Uni, only to be told then months later that I had BBD. It's just, what's going on there? So I didn't get into Cardiff. I was then thinking, right, I'm going to have to try this again. I have to get my head in the game, stop getting sidetracked by music, because if I want to do music, I've got to do music. I have to decide. You guys are ahead of me in that sense. You've already decided. You've said, right, I want to be a creative. Me, I was thinking, I want to be an academic. But I want to be a creative. Or do I want to be an academic? Is back and forth, yeah? So I ended up at USW, studying law, enjoying it. It's alright, it's good, it's fun. Enjoyed public speaking, enjoyed courtrooms and all that kind of thing. It was different. It was like performing art, if you like. It was a show. Trying to get the bad guy out of jail. It was cool. Enjoyed it. But this whole time I still wanted to DJ. So I get this residency, like I say, a room 2. It pays £30 a week, the equivalent of like EMA, yeah? I knew that if I was going to do this instead of getting a proper job, I'd have to live with my parents. So I stayed in uni living with my parents. It meant that I didn't do freshers as I was supposed to. All you guys have got mad freshers ahead of you in September. It's crazy. You get 14 days of just chaos. Me, meanwhile, I did 2 days because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to afford it because I only had this one residency. That residency eventually, finally, turned to a main room slot. Okay? So when I get this main room slot, I'm thinking, well, I've made it now. I've got it now. I'm playing to 700 students every single week. I've got this. It was cushy. It was good. I thought that, I've got this. Then, once again, the troughs come. And that's one thing that I'm telling you guys now is because in the next few years, if you're in a creative industry, which you are, you're going to get peaks and troughs. The same in business. It goes up and then goes down. And then goes down again and down again before it comes back up. It's not even peaks and troughs. It's peaks, troughs, and more peaks and then another peak again. There's no telling, really, whatsoever. So, it got hard again because a vocal coach of mine said to me, look, you're going to have to start putting the work in now because, you're coming out of uni, what are you going to do? And I said, yeah, I'm going to study law. I'm going back and like, can you get my dilemma now, guys? I was literally going this, and then this, and then this, and then this. But the main salient point of it is that I was so young, and still am, that it didn't really matter what I was trying to decide upon, if you one day want to be, an astronaut, and the next minute you want to be a vet, it doesn't matter because you've got time on your side. The good thing about you guys is you've decided to be a creative from day one. So you're being more true to yourself than I was when I was 18, that's for sure. So kudos to you for that, that's pretty sick. So I was doing all these jobs, finally got through my uni degree with a 2-1, which is good. Landed myself in, somehow, God knows how, the biggest and best law firm in Wales. I was the data protection representative dealing with publishing and privacy claims. All sounds like God would be good to you guys, maybe. But I enjoyed it. I was dealing with personal injury claims. I made that firm over £200,000 in the time that I was there, and took 16 grand of it. And that's when I knew, wow, that's not for me, man. Like, you guys, you're creatives. I can't see you guys wanting to work for a big don and making peanuts. But I had to initially, and that's what I was doing. Because I know that I had to get in there to learn the trade, and then eventually see it through, so that I could eventually do my own kind of thing, and make my own baby, and really innovate and create. So while I'm working as a lawyer, you're probably thinking, where's the music come into this? I thought we were going to talk to guys podcast and music, where's the music? So while I'm being a lawyer, running around paralegal all day, every day, I'm there 9 in the morning until 6 o'clock. In the nights that I'm DJing. I ended up somehow bagging myself 5 residencies in Cardiff. I hadn't been there that long at this point, a couple of years. I was playing all the biggest clubs, really enjoying it. My business partner back there, Adam, was an event manager. You can see him waving there.
Hello.
He was an event manager for a night on a Tuesday and a Thursday, so I was playing there. Saturdays I was booked up. Fridays I was booked up. There was times on a Saturday I'd do 3 gigs in the night. I'd finish at 6 a.m. On the Tuesdays and the Thursdays, Mondays sometimes, I'd finish at 3 a.m. I was up at 7 then for work, and I was killing myself. Because I didn't realise that by not following my passion like you guys already are, I keep saying this because it's really important you know that, I wasn't following my passion straight away, I was following 2, I was getting sidetracked, I was trying to have my fingers in all the pies everywhere. I was thinking, no, I can do this if I change the time up a little bit for this, and my diary was so packed. I was working hard, but I wasn't working smart at all. So it got too hard. I started burning the candle both ends, and eventually my dad said to me, Lloyd, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? I was ill, so ill. I couldn't sleep. When I get home, I'd have 2 hours if that, and it would be broken sleep. I wasn't eating properly. I was there on the phones to clients, just at the law firm, just going, what am I doing? Couldn't do it. There's times I just felt like crying, just slammed down the phone, and it took a year and a half for me to look the HR department in the eye and said, right, I'm off. I said, I'm gonna, he said, what are you gonna do? I said, I'm gonna go and start my own business. I'm thinking, what is this kid doing? So, off I went. I walked out. I gave them the notice, they weren't playing ball. I've released that as a statement before, a big law firm as well, I won't mention the name, but they were awful to me. So, I left it, man. Started up a new business. I was early days, I was a promoter at the time. Most of you are 18, right? Yeah. You all go out to Swansea, yeah. Pitch and Piano, Bamboo, all these clubs, yeah. So I was running events there, the Attic, and I was doing quite well. One show a night, by selling out, I was getting a couple of grand. I'm thinking, whoa, this is a lot of money. I never had money. I was like, Jesus, this is going well. I thought to myself, if I do this all the time, if I just do one of these sell-out shows every couple of weeks, I'll be landed. Little did I know, it's actually quite hard to sell something out, guys. You think about it, when you put on a birthday party and then you get your friends there, that's cool. When you start asking them to pay, it's a different story. I was charging £10 tickets and hoping that thousands of people would come. It's not quite the case. I thought I was bigger than what I was. I thought if I DJ at them, then they'll all want to come. Your friends aren't going to pay that much. So I judged it all wrong, but needless to say, the law firm said to me, you crack on. And this was my motivator. She looked at me in the eye and she said, Lloyd, I strongly advise you don't walk out. She said, but if you do, know that you're turning your back on a career, and know that we will not give you a reference if you walk out, compared to if you actually stay here full time. And you're going to want it back, because you're going to want to come back when your business fails you. I was thinking, oh my God, you know, this is the kind of society that I live in where people don't actually tell you that you're good enough to do something. And then raise your hands, who's been told you can't do something? What's that, 9%? 9%? Yeah, you get told you can't do something. That's exactly what happened to me. And it sticks with me today. You can tell I get angry talking about it because it winds me up. It gets under my bones, it gets under my skin. It makes you feel annoyed and nauseous. Because I remember looking at her and thinking, you're so wrong. Even though I didn't have a clue about running a business, the only business that I had run at that point was being in year 9 and year 10 in St John Lloyd and selling sweets. And that's what I was doing. I was selling Mars bars. I was getting 4 for £1 and selling them for 50 pence each. I can see a couple of Dell boys nodding their heads like, yeah, my man. But it was hard, and that's what I was doing, and that's the only business, inverted commas, I ever ran. I didn't run anything else. I didn't know what a profit loss was. Adam does the finances for us.
I still don't know what it is.
Still don't know what it is, yeah. I still don't know what finances are. I'm awful at finances. I'm the creative, I like to think of myself as. I don't know what finances are, I don't know what profit loss is, I don't know how to scale a business. My only business advice was by watching The Apprentice. Like, that was it. Like, I didn't know anything, so I'm thinking, oh my God, totally lost. It's not what I'm doing. Bear in mind, I've already told you from the story so far, I've been lost probably about 5 to 10 times already. Messed up my grades, went to law school, got a law degree, went into the field, didn't really like it, burnt the candle both ends, came back, played loads of gigs, wasn't getting the break that I wanted. So I go out into the world then. I'm into the real world, all right? Not too long later, I sign a record deal with Morph in Miami, so I get a single out. The single goes out in America, it goes out to the UK, I get loads of bookings. Anyone in the music industry here will know that when you get bookings, you gotta hit them hard. You gotta really hit them hard, because those 6 months, you gotta absolutely rinse it, right? Imagine that you've got a bank account, and you're just rinsing it, right? And you're just getting all the money that you can, and you're thinking to yourself, this is gonna end soon, and then boom, it ends again. And then you're off the grid. Nobody knows who you are. You have to release another thing as quick as you can. You release another thing, you get another 3 months, boom. You release another thing again, you rinse it again. It's literally peaks and troughs once again. So even though you're not business students, you can relate to music in the same way, because what you find is that you get the highs and then you get the lows and then you get the lows again. So that kept on happening with me. So clearly I was doing something wrong. Going back to the business and back to events. It was good initially. It was good, you know, I was making good money. I was making, in one event, I'd make the same money that I would from doing a month working in a law firm. I was thinking, this doesn't compare. But again, I didn't have the business methods. Neither did Adam, to be fair. We were both lost. We were totally lost. Just young boys going about, didn't know what we were doing. Carrying wads of cash, not being legitimate about it. Being cowboys, essentially. We were doing it all wrong. We didn't actually use what we had learned from as we were kids. It was just a total mess. Lost a lot of money. I did one show. Anyone like house and techno? Yeah? Yeah, I think we should have. Yeah, wicked. So the house and techno show. We did Zoo Project Ibiza. Talk more about that later perhaps, but I'm the Welsh ambassador for that. So we took it up to Leeds actually. And we did a show there. It was the first big week for us as an events company. So we were doing 5 events for the Easter weekend. That first show, we were like, right, let's go. We're going to make a wodging. We're going to have a real good time doing it. Got 3 headliners in, all cost an absolute wedge. Started doing it. 50 people come in, another 50 come in. Oh God, this is a 1,000 capacity venue. 100 people so far. It's 10%. Another 50 come in, another 50 come in, 200 people come in. Oh my God, we just lost £3,500. What am I meant to do? These are the first big events for us from starting up a company. I've just lost £3,500. So we go again the next day. I'm thinking, right, I've got to do this time around. Come down to Bristol, and I've got another house and techno artist, Eddie Cox. She comes down to play. End up having to pull that one. Done about 9 tickets. What is going on? How can a guy who used to play to 700 people every single Wednesday in his university, a guy that's played in Ibiza and back and signed all these records in Miami and back, how come the foot's off the gas? Because I was executing it wrong, guys. I was executing it wrong. That's why. So I lost all that money on that one as well. The whole weekend it ended up somehow kind of leveling out. sort of. We had a good Sunday. But that was about it, you know, and we were just doing it all wrong. We weren't properly executing what we had learned. We weren't sitting down and thinking to ourselves, how do I want to go about this? And the other thing is we weren't being true to ourselves. We were suggesting that things were half sold out when they weren't. We were just all over the place. Heads totally all over the place. We weren't disciplined enough either to stay vigilant in what we were doing. We were motivated, but the motivation was kind of misaligned. But discipline was the main one, really. We kept on spending when we shouldn't have, and making poor business mistakes that could have meant me walking back up to the law firm and saying, can I have my job back, please? And then that wasn't an option. So we just kept on grinding. Will Smith himself says that the definition of self-discipline is self-love. I wasn't loving myself at this point, okay? It might be worth noting that during this whole time period that I've been telling you about, I was prescribed on anti-anxieties and antidepressants. Why? Why do you think? Because I wasn't following what I wanted to do. You know, I wanted to be at these talks, but instead I was studying biology. Nothing against those guys. But I was studying something that I didn't really want to do. I was preparing myself for a law career and knew that I'd make all this money and, you know, provide wealth for my family. But would I provide love and enjoyment? Would I provide fulfilment? What I realized, and what you guys, you guys will soon realize this, is that by chasing money, which is what I was doing, you know, so far all you've heard is me talk about money, because that's what I was like. I used to chase money. I used to chase, you know, how many tickets can I sell? You know, how much money, what's my salary going to be as a lawyer? How much have I made this client? How much have I made that client? And yeah, you need that in business, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, you do. But there's a difference between chasing money and chasing fulfillment. If you chase money, you will never find fulfillment. I hands down will say that at the age of 23. I'm speaking like a 40, 50-year-old maybe, but I'm being serious. You go, if you chase fulfillment, you'll get money as a byproduct. Money is just a byproduct of success, period. If you chase money, you won't be successful. That's spot on, that's the way it is. That's what I've learned. But it's only a relatively new idea to me. If you talked to me 6 months ago, 12 months ago, totally different story. I was chasing money. I realized that that's not the case. You guys, you're in a way better position than I was. Way better. You may think, how's that? You know, Oxbridge and all this kind of stuff. It doesn't matter what the title is. It doesn't matter what field of work that you're going to go into. If you're not chasing what you want to do, it doesn't matter. You've got to start loving what you do and doing what you love. It's something that Adam said to me. You need to start doing things that you love for yourself. And don't start doing things for other people. Because I was trying to live a life that perhaps my parents wanted for me originally. I was trying to live a life that society perhaps wanted for me. Like, what lawyer can say that he's, you know, playing house and techno raves till 6 AM and then getting up for work? It just wasn't the case. And when my clients would say to me on the Monday morning, they say, hi Lloyd, you know, how was your weekend? I'd be like, yeah, it was crazy, don't remember much of it, because I was, you know, off my face. And I was playing gigs in some basement in the middle of Cardiff, you know, it was kind of like total switch of personality. I liked it, I thought, you know, the double life was cool, if it was different, but it wasn't healthy, and it wasn't fulfilling. So yeah, there will be times when you guys have to get normal jobs, and I'm being straight with you, because, you know, media and music, they're the hardest things to kind of monetize. And that's why we're here today. So when we do the question and answer, I hope you do ask me things about monetizing a career in music, because I was struggling to find a way. I thought the events would do it. I went into digital marketing then as a result of doing the events. I realized that eventually when I did hit the right spot, and when I did start selling out things again, I realized, okay, you've all got Facebook, right? Obviously, yeah, pretty much everyone in the room, I'd say 99.9% perhaps. I realized that I could sell tickets through Facebook for my music events. I was using Facebook ads, I'm not just posting. I was on the ads manager, I was running ads. Started using that things like LinkedIn and Instagram bots and all that kind of stuff. And eventually, Adam and I, we were there I remember talking to him multiple times about it. You know, there's people flooded into a club, and we start thinking to ourselves, if we can get 1,000 people in a club, imagine what we can do for a business. I've been in a corporate background. I thought, right, okay, this is how I can integrate my knowledge in music into a corporate kind of fashion. Now we run a digital marketing agency, it's up and coming. And we work with a range of businesses, from e-commerce to restaurants, to even a funeral directors, to public speakers, through to nutrition schools. There's everything, man. You know, in our last few months, for one client, we've made them £56,000 just from ads, from one advert campaign. And how did I learn AdWords? I didn't study marketing, never done marketing course, I've never done any marketing course at all. I watched a couple of things on YouTube, that's it. Media students will like that, because you know all about learning things on YouTube before actually putting it into practice, yeah. So that's all that I had done. We had learned it from being on the job and doing what we loved. That's it. There was no blueprint, no book that said this is how you got to do it. This is how you monetize, you know, your events. We have to get in there and do it. But the last thing I want to leave you on before we talk about, you know, go into a question and answer. Last thing I want to talk about when it comes to fulfillment, really. And you guys may not see it yet, because I didn't. I admit it wasn't until the last couple of years that I realized the importance of fulfillment in everything that I did, everything that I still do. But there's essentially three things. I call it the ALC. So it's attention, learning, and compassion. Now the reason why I say those, attention, learning, and compassion, is that these areas, right, the parts of the brain that use them the most in your day-to-day thinking are most prominent in the monks, okay? I'm not saying I'm a monk, you don't see me with shaved hair, like praying all the time, but there's a lot to learn from the monks, right? Okay? So those areas are most prominent in them. Now the reason for that is that it's called cortical thickening. It's the growth of new neurons in response to repeated practice. So what do I mean by that? You know, what's he talking about, ALC? What I'm saying is, that gives evidence that by doing good and doing positive movements on a daily basis, chasing fulfillment, the law of attraction, chasing happiness, passing that on to other people, giving people good work, doing good gestures, doing a good deed of the day, it generally comes back. That's what it means. Because as you practice something hard and hard enough, it becomes second nature. Your mind is a muscle, okay? Yeah? All agreed? Your mind's a muscle, right? Now, what do you do when you want to strengthen muscle?
Train it.
You train it, yeah? You go to the gym, you train it. Now, no, I'm not telling you to start curling your brain. What I'm saying is, I'm not even saying to get to the gym, although we all need to a bit more perhaps, but what I'm actually saying is to work it out. Train it. Because by training your brain and chasing fulfillment rather than chasing money, you get fulfillment. You get more than fulfillment. By doing that one positive act, it comes back tenfold. Because that is the law of attraction. And that's what I'm talking about with these monks. Is that these guys have got ALC. They've got the attention and the learning and the compassion. Because they pay attention to everything that they do. They pay attention to how they behave. They pay attention to the feelings of the person next to them. When they sat down next to somebody, they ask them if they're okay. Ask them if they can help with anything. Although you may think, oh, he's going off on a hell of a tangent here, where is he coming back to? What I'm saying is everything that you do, regardless of whether it is in media, regardless of whether it's in music, or if you end up like me and do a corporate thing and burn yourself out and then end up having to come back into music, whether you're podcasting, whether you're doing radio, make sure to give value to your viewers. Make sure to give awareness, but also to give value. Teach them things. Make people feel good. Because by doing that, they'll come back to you tenfold. Thank you very much, guys. I want to take some questions. So, I know there's a fair amount of you here, so we won't be able to get around everyone. One thing that I used to do in these is I used to think of a question and get too scared to ask it all the time. And then like that, I used to lie there thinking, damn, I wish I asked that. So, don't get me wrong, my DMs are always open if you want to slide in and ask anything, right? Always.
Out of all the experiences you went through in your life, is there then that you found helped you when you got to your end goal?
Anything that, what, sorry?
Like out of all the jobs that you did, are there any of them in particular that really helped you when you reached your end goal?
Nice, okay. So, let's go to the law thing for a second. The law career helped me how? Contracts. That was the main thing. Anyone in here, and I can tell you now, they're looking in this room, I guarantee they will look at some sort of a pop star, radio star, I don't know, something. There'll be somebody somewhere who booms. One of you will, two of you will, three of you will, I don't know. Contracts is going to come into it for you guys, 100%. So for me, it was contractual law. That was my main thing. Even though in actual practice, I wasn't doing that so much, I was still negotiating. What I found is that I didn't need an agent. I didn't need a manager. I do everything myself. Every booking that came in, it was a case of, right, I'm going to think of the fee that I want. And I'm going to think of everything else that I want. I'm going to think of my own rider. I'm going to think of my own contract. I didn't need somebody to depend on, which not only did it save me 20% every time, but also meant that I had a degree of sort of confidence, if you like, but a degree of respect as well among promoters. So that's what I say was probably the main one. But overriding all of that, no matter whether I was delivering pizza, whether I was saying hello to people that came through the Nando's door, whether I was dealing with a complaint, or whether I was knocking doors for cancer research and getting a door slammed in my face, the main thing is resilience. Resilience is the main thing. It's all about putting in a disproportionate amount of work to get a proportionate amount of success. And that's me being real. Like, there's no other way of getting around it. I know that some people say, you put in crazy work and you're going to get crazy heights. Yes, the case in some way, but you have to put in even more work than you'd expect just to get something out of it. You know, I was doing 8-hour weeks initially to get to where I am today. Today I work smart, I don't work hard. But to get to that point, I've had to work hard, you know. Now, you know, we choose our hours. Yeah, we're in the office every day, and we were there till what? God knows what time yesterday. So, you know, we're there every day, we're grinding. But that's my main thing for me, to be honest. Contractual stuff and resilience. Next question, guys. Fire them away.
Come on, someone else has got a question.
Somebody's got one, come on. Yeah?
With your talks, have you taken inspiration from Gary Vee?
Massively. Spotted me. Massively, mate. Yeah. Anyone know Gary Vee? Get to know Gary Vee, guys. He is, like him, Don. Absolute Don. He's the guy who, well, how do you explain him? I'm just an absolute Trojan when it comes to public speaking. And when it comes to media, the guy runs VaynerMedia. In fact, who wants to run a digital marketing agency in the future? No one? Who wants to... Alright, it's not very good for us, I should have seen that. Who wants to run a media agency in the future? So PR, press release, radio. Who wants to run a radio station? Kind of. Alright, better idea. Fire out. Somebody shout out what they want to do. Studio. You want to run a studio, yeah? You want to hire that out to other people? Yeah. Right, sick.
I want to be a writer.
You want to be a writer? Okay. I can tell you now that no matter what the hell you fire out, Gary Vee has an answer to it. 100,000,000%. Doesn't matter what field it is. In the same way that I'm trying to explain to you that in a corporate background, you can actually turn that around and become a musician and start making money in a different way. You know, with Gary Vee, he's unbelievable. The guy talks about crushing it essentially, no matter what you do. He's the guy who really inspired me to talk about giving value in everything that you do. You know, guys, if you end up doing a service-based business, which is what I highly suggest, you'll learn that by teaching people to do something, they'll come to you anyway. So you telling somebody of your tricks, don't keep them under a hat. Don't be like, oh, I can't tell you this. This is my little secret idea. I'm not going to tell you how to release a podcast. I'm not going to tell you how to make a piece of music. I'm not going to tell you how to make a killer after movie. You know, keeping it under your hat only gets you so far. You stay stuck in your little circle. You going online, putting up a video tonight and saying, this is how to, I don't know, do an amazing concealer. If you're a girl, I don't know, or guys. This is how to release a podcast. This is how to play I don't know, SpongeBob on guitar. It doesn't matter what the hell it is. It doesn't matter what the hell it is, guys. So long as you put out some sort of content and you're saying, this is the value I want to give to you guys, there's no reason, you guys are learning first. I would have loved to learn the stuff that you're learning now, because you're way ahead of me. I keep saying this. The things that you're learning now, I've had to learn in the last few months. I didn't know how to release a podcast until about 2-3 weeks ago. I mean, now we started doing it. I didn't know how to sell out of the club until a couple of years ago. Well, then again, we kept on failing even then a few months ago. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is, yes, Gary Vee, because put out the value. By teaching somebody to do something, you become the turn-to person. Hands down, you become the figurehead of your field. With me, I make sure to put out information constantly, put out value. Adam and I, we've got a thing called Whiteboard Wednesdays. We sit there in the office, we come up with new and innovative ways to tell the nation on how to start up a business. Other things that I do, I teach people how to make music on Ableton. But I don't do it as a one-to-one session. I don't get paid for it. I don't get paid for it. Again, when you're chasing payment, you're not going to get it. Instead, by putting out value and saying, hey guys, this is how you can turn an FM synth into a kick. This is how you can turn an FM synth into a hi-hat. This is how you can, use this massive synth and FM8 kind of synths to make a cool acid loop or a cool bass line. People start going, that's cool, I never thought of that. And when they do start doing it then, you see they drop you a message. There's a reason why my DMs are I'm saying for you guys to jump in them, because people are doing that every day. Because I put out content and then they come back to me and say, Lloyd, I saw this video that you did, it was really sick. You didn't really talk about this though, so I'm just wondering how you can do that. Now I know that I'm not always going to be able to turn them into a booking or monetize them in some way. But I know that by giving out that value, eventually they'll tell a friend. They'll tell another friend and tell another friend. Eventually your profile comes up and you start becoming the turn-to guy. If you do end up, like you said, start up a studio, there's no reason why you can't be saying, look at my space. You're jumping on YouTube, jumping on Facebook saying, look at my space here. We record for X, Y, and Z. This is how to record your own backing track in just 5 minutes. There's no reason why you can't be pushing out that kind of content. Who here is posting daily? It's not really enough. Who here is posting 1 to 3 days online? Yeah? 1 to 3 days, fair enough. Posting once a week? Yeah, we've got to sort that out, guys. If you're posting once a week, then you're never going to become the turn-to. Who here wants to start their podcast? I believe podcasting is some sort of... anyone? Kind of? Yeah, kind of. Dipping your toes in a bit. Get out there now. What's stopping you? What is stopping you? Come on.
Well,
You don't know. That's the thing. You don't know. Exactly the same with me, man. That was the same with me. I didn't know. Just something though, isn't it? Something is making you go, I don't know if I can do it. Yeah?
Sorry, Lloyd, we're going to have to wrap it up. They've got to be somewhere else.
Sure. Any final question? I got like 30 seconds I can do.
What's the podcast about?
What's the podcast about? Great question. Great time for me to plug. The podcast is called Haines Global. It's myself and Anne Roberts. We talk about starting up a business. We talk about the peaks and the troughs. We talk about how messed up it gets. We talk about how fun it gets. We get DJs on. DJs that talk about mental health. DJs that talk about making it in the industry. Anyone that's looking to get involved in media at all, whether it be in the marketing sector, radio sector, video, or anything. Adam and I will stay here for the next 5 to 10 minutes, so by all means come and have a chat. If you do fancy coming down the office for a day, even happy to do that. Totally free, of course. But you won't get paid. No, I'm joking, you. So yeah, just I think the last thing I'll leave it on, guys. Chase fulfillment, don't chase money. You're already ahead of me, so keep doing what you're doing, guys. And enjoy the ride, because it's going to get hard. Alright?
Thank you, Lloyd.